high in the mountain peaks where the air grows thin and the clouds part like curtains, a flame burns brighter than any star. This is the story of a creature born from fire itself, a being whose very breath can melt stone and whose wings carry it to heights where few dare to follow. In the remote mountain ranges of Kanto, where jagged cliffs pierce the sky and ancient forests cling to rocky slopes, there lives a magnificent beast that has captured the imagination of travelers for generations. Standing at nearly 6 feet tall, with wings that span wider than a grown man's reach, this fire and flying type commands respect from every creature that crosses its path. The locals speak of it in hushed tones, telling tales of a red-orange guardian whose tail flame glows with an intensity that reflects its very spirit. When that flame burns bright, they say, the mountains themselves seem to hold their breath. The elders of the nearby village have long observed its habits. They know it soars to incredible heights, sometimes climbing nearly 1,400 meters into the atmosphere where the oxygen thins and lesser creatures would falter. They have witnessed the superheated blasts of fire it releases, flames so intense that they make the red ember on its tail burn even more brilliantly. But lately, something has changed. The flame that once lit up the night sky has grown dim. The mighty wings that once cast shadows over entire valleys now struggle against simple mountain winds. A young ranger named Kenji first noticed the change 3 weeks ago during his routine patrol of the eastern peaks. He had grown up watching this magnificent creature from afar, sketching its silhouette against sunset skies, dreaming of the day he might understand its ways. Now, binoculars pressed to his eyes, he watched with growing concern as it landed clumsily on a familiar ledge, its breathing labored, its movements uncertain. Something's wrong, he muttered to himself, lowering the binoculars slowly. The problem revealed itself gradually over the following days. A series of unusual storms had swept through the region, bringing with them a thick, ash-laden fog that settled into the mountain valleys. The source was a distant volcanic eruption, hundreds of miles away, yet the winds had carried its residue directly into these peaks. The air quality had deteriorated rapidly. For most creatures, this was merely an inconvenience. But for one who relied on the purity of high-altitude winds to fuel its inner fire, whose solar power ability drew strength from clear, unobstructed sunlight, the contaminated skies were slowly draining its life force. Kenji made his decision on the 4th morning. He would climb to the high ledge where the creature had made its home. He would try to help, though he had no idea how. His colleagues at the ranger station called him foolish, reminded him of the devastating flames such a beast could unleash when threatened. But Kenji had studied its behavior for years. He knew that beneath the fearsome exterior beat a heart capable of remarkable restraint, a creature that chose when to unleash its blaze, ability, and when to hold back. The climb took most of the day. By late afternoon, Kenji pulled himself onto the rocky outcropping and found himself face to face with a legend. It lay curled near the cliff's edge, its wings folded tight against its body, its tail flame flickering weakly like a candle in the wind. Its eyes, usually fierce and calculating, held something Kenji had never expected to see there. Uncertainty, perhaps even fear. "I'm not here to hurt you," Kenji said softly, keeping his distance. "I want to help, if you'll let me." The creature lifted its head slightly, nostrils flaring. A small wisp of smoke escaped its mouth, nothing like the roaring infernos it was known for. For a long moment, neither moved. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, the great beast relaxed its defensive posture. But as Kenji took his first careful step forward, A sound echoed from below. Voices. Engines. The unmistakable noise of heavy machinery grinding its way up the mountain path. Kenji's blood ran cold. He recognized that sound. The poaching syndicate that had been terrorizing the region's wildlife had finally found what they were looking for. And their prize lay wounded and weakened, unable to take to the skies. Time turned him. Kenji's heart pounded as he turned to face the approaching threat. Through the thinning mountain mist, he could make out 3 armored vehicles crawling up the narrow path, their reinforced frames designed to withstand even the harshest terrain. Men in dark uniforms spilled out before the engines had fully stopped, carrying nets woven from specialized materials and devices that hummed with an ominous electrical charge. The creature behind him stirred, attempting to rise on trembling legs. A warning growl rumbled from its throat, but the sound lacked its usual thunderous power. The tail flames sputtered, casting erratic shadows across the stone. "Stay down," Kenji whispered urgently. "You're in no condition to fight." But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. He was one ranger against a dozen armed poachers. His radio had lost signal hours ago in the mountain's shadow. No backup was coming. The syndicate's leader, a broad-shouldered man with a scar running down his cheek, stepped forward with a cruel smile. "Move aside, boy. That creature is worth more than you'll earn in 10 lifetimes. We've been tracking it for months, waiting for exactly this opportunity." Kenji planted his feet firmly on the rock. "You'll have to go through me." The man laughed, gesturing to his crew. "That can be arranged." What happened next would stay with Kenji for the rest of his life. As 2 poachers moved to grab him, the weakened creature behind him let out a sound unlike anything he had ever heard. Not a roar of aggression, but something deeper. A call that resonated through the stone itself, vibrating in Kenji's chest like a second heartbeat. And then the mountain answered. From crevices and caves across the peaks, shapes began to emerge. Dozens of fire types, drawn by that ancient call. Creatures that had shared these mountains for generations, who had watched over one another through countless seasons. They lined the ridges above, their combined flames creating a corona of light that burned away the volcanic haze. The poachers froze. Their equipment was designed to capture one weakened target, not face an entire mountain community united in defense of their own. But it was what happened next that truly changed everything. The gathered creatures began to position themselves strategically, those with the brightest flames moving to the highest points where the air was clearest. They were creating channels, Kenji realized with amazement. Pathways of pure, heated air that rose through the contaminated atmosphere, drawing clean oxygen up from the valleys below. The effect was immediate. The great beast's tail flame, fed by this sudden influx of untainted air, began to strengthen. Its glow shifted from a weak flicker to a steady burn, then to something approaching its former brilliance. The creature rose to its full height, wings spreading wide, and released a blast of superheated air that sent the poacher's vehicle sliding backward down the mountain path. No flames touched the men directly. No violence was necessary. The message was clear enough. The syndicate fled, their engines screaming in retreat, leaving nothing behind but tire tracks and abandoned equipment. As the sun set that evening, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold, Kenji sat at a respectful distance while the mountain's guardian recovered its strength. The other fire types had dispersed back to their homes, but something had shifted in the ecosystem. A bond had been reaffirmed, an ancient compact between creatures who understood that survival in harsh places required cooperation, not isolation. The great beast turned its fierce eyes toward Kenji one final time. In that gaze, he saw something new. Not just tolerance, but recognition, perhaps even gratitude. Then, with a powerful thrust of its mighty wings, it launched itself into the clearing sky, climbing toward those incredible heights where it truly belonged. Kenji smiled, watching until the silhouette disappeared among the stars. Time between Stunden 900 Mast. Some Pokédex entries suggest that this creature's fire burns more intensely when it has experienced great emotional trials. Perhaps that explains why, in the weeks that followed, travelers reported seeing a tail flame brighter than any in living memory, a beacon visible from villages miles away. A reminder that even the mightiest among us sometimes need Amma and others to help us find our strength again. If this story moved you, subscribe for more incredible Pokémon documentaries. Next time, we explore another legendary tale from the world of Pokémon.